Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iRacing IndyCar Open Series here from glorious Nashville. I'm Austin. I'm joined by Scott Rankin with Marco Bobinera in the production booth, and you're here live watching Apex Racing TV.
Yeah, howdy, howdy, Austin. I don't know how to react to you anymore. For those of you who are, which is going to be all of you, Austin has been working on his local mannerisms, shall we say, for Nashville prior to the stream, and he's got me in a little bit of a bind here because I don't know whether I'm talking to regular Austin or I'm talking to out Nashville Austin anymore.
I'm just going to keep letting you guess by switching accents throughout the race.
Oh, I hate you! I hate you! How cruel! Marco, can you sack him? Can we get a new...
Trust me, if I could, I would have already done it.
Oh.
But alas, I can't. And yes, everyone is hearing me talk right now. Therefore, Austin, you have been exposed.
There you go, sweet. Austin, you've been thrown under the bus, but look, the best part about IndyCar iRacing series is the fact that we get to do this sort of banter, we get to have a fair bit of fun, and we get to see some of the best drivers on iRacing attack the IndyCars with all that they've got. And look, to be perfectly honest, Adriano Pinheiro ran a phenomenal race last week, coming to a new track for the first time ever, and he's right up there on top of the boards to start off with. I mean, that's a phenomenal run from Adriano. And Spots! Oh, Spots goes quicker!
Yeah, absolutely. Great lap by Spots. And Indy, these IndyCars get extremely wild here. as we've been seeing, like, it's not that high bank. We're on the speedway aero configuration, and this track is pretty short for a super speedway, air quotes. And it's so bumpy too. So all these drivers are going to be having a little bit of time, a little bit of joys, and a little bit of troubles racing around here for sure. But hey, that's how I like to do it here in Nashville.
It's tricky, and I mean, it's one of the few cement. So I mean, let's talk in terms of cement formatting on cement surfacing. That's the terminology I was going for. Cement surfacing on the road. There's really not that many cement or concrete tracks out there, and to be perfectly honest, the IndyCars really don't tend to run on a lot of those circuits. Dover, not all that great for IndyCars. Bristol, again, same sort of thing. It's the high banking, the transitions. It's not really all that great for IndyCars, and they can carry so much more speed. Not a great track for IndyCars. And the National Superspeedway, another just big question mark. I'm starting to wonder whether or not it is actually the concrete, or whether it's just the configurations that are associated with the concrete.
I believe it's a little bit of both, but we're going to find out here today. 150 laps scheduled for us. Brian Spots on pole position ahead of Adriano Pinero, Hayato Matsuda, Alex Vandersant, Chris Wilhite, Hugo Olsen, Adam Blocker, Andrew Marquez, Richard Craig, Andrew Wood, Kevin Bohushala, Rob Ungalikis, Jason Wallet, Laura Gearhart, Nicholas Isidro, and Tim Williams. I don't know where I said. Tim Williams at the end of the grid.
I love listening to you. This is the best part of the stream every week, is listening to you do the grid.
Thank you. That makes me not insecure at all.
Improvement, you got Will Height right.
Yes, I changed it. I changed his name to actually just like spell it out. So just like last week, if I've completely messed up your name, let me know. Just let me know, and I'll, put a little pronunciation for you in my lovely SDK live timing. So when I read the names, I can actually get it right. But yeah, qualifying is over. 150 laps here. We're gonna have a great time here in Nashville. Home of some beautiful music, some amazing skies, a nice southern comfort, and one heck of a pre-race, I must say. This ain't NASCAR, but I'm doing it anyway. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Amen. Let's go racing here at Nashville.
Yeah, look, I think this is going to be an interesting night. And the thing that you've got to remember is this is one of the first times that these guys are coming to this oval. Yeah, they know how the cars react under the different sort of configurations, especially that lower downforce. That does mean a little bit less aero wake, but also at the same time, it does mean that there's a lot less downforce to begin with. So ultimately, I think, again, we're going to see a lot of wear to that right-hand side tire just due to the nature of the track. A little bit of those heavy turns. The banking, not egregious, not a heavy banking. So look, ultimately, I think this is going to be a tire wear heavy race. Personally, you're getting demanded for an iRacing for a spotter pack. I agree.
Yes,
I agree. My favorite words that I ever want to hear in my ear. Scott yeah, you go you.
Well, the iRacing pace car is pulling off the track. It's green here in Nashville. Let's crack open a cold one and get wild here in IndyCar. And speaking of wild, there's already a crash in the tri-oval. All right, let's get less wild. Let's let... Hugo Olsen is already out of the race. 2 tires off of his IR18. Green flag is stayed out as that was right as the green flag started. And here's what happened to Hugo Olsen right here. Oh, he just gets rear-ended and then bam.
That's an interesting one. Because
I
I didn't even see the car coming. I did see the inside line, just did not get a good start. I'm almost wondering if the lead car on the inside line, which I believe would have been Pinheiro, just no, sorry, it would have been Spots.
Spots
should have been on the inside.
When the car went, he went. Pace car went, he went out. So that's the weirdest thing. I'm watching the replay. Oh, it was the car up onto the inside, got up a little bit higher, and actually just clipped his wheel. He wasn't a car behind it, but that is the most unfortunate start to the race for Hugo right there. 2 laps down already, and, well, his mechanics are hard at work on that IndyCar as everybody is taking to the track and, well, starting to find their own pace right here. Turn 4 can be extremely tricky, as I've been told out, as the racing line just goes right up there and you're side by side with somebody and you're in that dirty air. Oh, man, you might be having a date with that wall, and she is not going to pay for a single cent.
Austin, oh, I do not, look, I really want to be here every week of the season. This is the broadcast that I do not want to miss a minute of. Early on, Wallat's going to get a run down the inside, get the move done as well, grab himself up a spot from Matsuda. So I believe Matsuda was actually drifting heavily backwards in the early opening phases into this one. Pinheiro under assault from Vandersen as well. So the top 3 all covered by a second. Then there's nearly a second back to Wilhite in third, and then it sort of staggers itself out just a little bit. So we just got to be careful here that Pinheiro doesn't get overrun by Vandersen and get too focused in on fighting him early on in this stint. I think Vandersen's going to be a little bit patient here just for the nature of these guys' race, because if they opt to fight each other and this goes green, then spots is just gone.
Yeah, spots are definitely going to be gone here. It's an extremely fast track, and all these drivers, as that is well, one of the cars on the outside, I believe that is Kevin, getting very close to the wall. Let's ride on board of Nicholas in 13th. Istro, and you can just see on how much he's working that wheel and how much of the bumps are transferring to that wheel. No power steering in these Indy cars, but here in sim racing world, your power steering is, oh, Nicholas, the wrong time to put on the camera, gets loose coming out turn 4, and he takes a ride through the tri-oval grass section. He's keeping the wheels pointed forward and is able to get back onto the track. Hopefully that car can stay up to speed. We stay green here at Nashville.
My word, what a save! What a save!
10 out of 10.
He's going to have to, he's very close to going a lap down at this point in time. So this is going to be the external view. Woo! So it's just that transition off the banking, rear starts to come around. You got to remember that they're quite loaded in the rear end of the car for an extended period of time. So as they exit the banking there, the right rear tire is at its hottest at any part of the corner. And they're transitioning the weight around the car. It's where the cars can get most unstable. It's basically, there's not even distributed weight at that rear end. Now, naturally, as an IndyCar driver, that's just part and parcel of the gig. You know that the car should be doing that. Obviously, at that stage, he's just either overdriven it, too much aggressiveness on that right foot, and not enough control in the steering wheel.
It's a lot of different things. There's a weird bump coming out of turn 4 because it just comes up right upon you, and if you're not active on your controls, that car can get really unsettled. He had a little bit of dirty air as well, but turn 4, I was talking with a few of the drivers, and they're saying that it comes up real quick and it's really easy to hit. Any contact will make the car looser from aero damage.
Matsuda.
And this is Matsuda heading into the pit lane. Don't see any. Oh, no, I do see some massive side pod damage and front wing damage as well. But the side of that car really pancaked, well, what I should guess would be turn 4, but he kept it going straight, and, well, he's in the pits now getting that repaired. So this is going to be a race of attrition, as they were saying, as this race is very new. Not a lot of people actually owned the track before this season, and not a lot of people have driven this race until this week. And by this week, I mean last week, as this is the first Nashville race of the season for the IndyCars, and ever for the IndyCars.
Yeah, this is going to set ourselves up, like, it's the transitions through the long runs. You can do short run practice, that's very easy. You can get a bunch of that in. You can get a bunch of running traffic down, get your friends online. You only need 2 or 3 cars to really simulate enough of that aero wake for everyone to sort of get a few laps running in that one. But it's about that long run. It's about what the tires are going to do. It's about how the car's going to transition. It's about the specifics of how to handle the track on that long run. And look at Rashad Craig. Look at what he's looking at up ahead of him from Ungonex as well. You can just see Ungonex getting a little bit loose. So the guys right now are trying to find that limit on the right-hand side of their car.
Yeah, it's really difficult to pass around here. They said it's a 1-lane track, and well, we're seeing that opportunity right here. Spots at Pinheiro. Pinheiro dies down low, proving me wrong, but Pinheiro's been working at that for a while. Pinheiro up into the lead.
And this is crucial because all of a sudden this puts a lot of that weight back on Spots. Spots is going to get this move done back immediately because I don't think if Pinero's got the speed to get up here and make this move done, then Spots needs that clean air to stay ahead. He's not going to be able to fight him for long enough.
Yeah, Pinero went defensive on to the inside line, so Spots had no...
Look at him.
place to-
He had to roll out.
Oh!
You can see that coming.
Extremely counter the steering guys. That car got extremely loose coming out of
That's
turn
what I meant.
4.
That's 100% what I meant. So,
Exactly what you meant.
Yeah, so look, I mean, what it is, Hugo Olsen's at least made it back out on track, so there's the benefit for him. I mean, that's 14 laps down, unfortunately, but
He just completed his first lap.
that's life. I mean, that sucks. There's nothing the guy can do though.
Yeah,
He just gets completely.
He wrote in our YouTube chat, is like, when you finally stay up to 2 a.m., you get this. That's a tough break. I know that feeling a lot. I do a lot of endurance racing, and you know, you sometimes wait up, stay up to odd hours.
Don't
to
you
get
dare
into your
say
car.
Road Atlanta. Don't you dare say Road Atlanta.
I'm not saying
Road
anything
Atlanta is a
about
dirty
Road
word right now.
I am not saying anything about Road Atlanta. I talked about right with your stint in GT3 to find out the car's bending into the wall and blowing the engine on lap 1.
Suda's still on the pit lane,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, Hayato is well just coming
There you go.
out of the pit lane right now. You know, no faster pairs in the official series, and the iRacing new repair model.
Still going slowly. There's something still wrong with that car.
Well, they're on the pit exit.
Yeah, but even on the pit exit, you can come up to speed a lot quicker than that. That's,
There
anyway.
are two lines in the pit exit. I believe the IndyCar takes the much tighter line, and 2 cold tires. The levers are right there. You don't want to come out full speed and
Yeah, I-
accidentally spin it. But we're going to see. We're going to see what if they're actually being able to catch up to speed. We'll keep y'all posted on that. Because I believe they're on pace right now because they're about to do the first lap right now, so we can actually see it. But they're currently they just reached 204 miles an hour.
It's up to speed. Yeah, I was just looking for that gap in traffic.
Yeah.
Oh well, such is life, unfortunately. Oh, Isidro is dropping like an absolute rock right now. He's lost about 3 or 4 seconds in the
Did he
space.
hit the wall?
No,
They probably got
Maybe.
loose coming out of turn 4.
I just saw that timing tower just rocketing upwards in terms of relative time. So I think it was just relative to the car that we were on board with just before. So
Well, Nicholas had that massive save in turn 4.
okay, so just getting a word through that it's actually not relevant to the race situation. It was actually a bug. It was not intended. That timing. So all good. Back on with Van der Sant. Van der Sant's closed quite aggressively on Spots, and Spots is now starting to hold Van der Sant up. So this is a move. This has got to be done quickly as well.
Yeah, Spots' car really worked well in the opening laps, but now that we get to that crucial point of lap 25, it's become a completely different game with these cars and how they handle. They're handling completely different than how they do in A, clean air, and then B, early on in the race when the tires have grip, because this track is really abrasive too on these tires. Hugo Olsen is in the pit lane.
Oh, there we go. First green flag stops potentially.
I'm saying back. Yeah,
Oh,
he had
back
the
in the pit
damage.
lane.
So I think,
I
yeah,
think-
I think Hugo's going to be out, and I don't think he sees the point in staying in the car.
Which is fair enough. I mean, the only reason to hang around would be to get to that 50% race distance, so lap 75, get 75 completed laps in the book, and then move on. That way you're at least completed and at least scored is about the only reason to do that. Or is it 75%? It might be 75%.
It's 50%.
Okay. So it's 50%, yeah, participation money. Okay, alright. Lessons learned. This is,
Yeah, I guess he just doesn't want to try to continue.
fair enough.
He can, but I don't think he's really feeling it. You know, it's 2
If this was
a.m.
an
He wants
endurance
to-
race, Yeah. If this was an endurance race, completely different mindset. You go back out there and there'd be opportunities that present themselves, but it's not. It's oval racing, and a margin of 17 laps in oval racing is too much. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, if it was 5,
difficult as this, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Come back later in the week. Come get another run of things. Have a crack and look. I mean, it's first time. Shake it off. Come back next week. The worst possible thing you can do is get into a bad mindset and then continue portraying that negative mindset. If you just want to, you get to this point, you look at things and you just say, this isn't going to work, no worries, I'll move on, I'll come back next week. And especially like I said, Hugo said, look, I stayed up to 2 a.m. to get into this split, I wanted to have a good crack at this, I really wanted to get into the broadcasted IndyCar split. Come back next week, man. This is a one-off. That's the first time we've seen something like that, to be perfectly honest, this season. See you again next week, let's have another crack, yeah?
Why was I waiting for just like a response from him like he was in the chat?
Because your name is Austin? You're always in a weird space. Like, that's the beauty of you, Austin.
This is true. And also on Friday I went through a table, so that also might have something to do with it.
I want to say wrestling, but at the same time I don't want to probe any further.
It was wrestling. It was.
No way! Sick! That's cool. That's very cool.
I lost.
Yeah, but you went through a table. You never lose when you go through a table.
This is true. Currently, Alex Van der Zandt sitting in 3rd place as he is closing in on Brian's spots even more. Spot, I don't know what's going on with spots. He was on point and then pulling away, but now Pinero has pulled out a 5-second gap to Brian, and Pinero's car, when he got into that clean air, he just took off like a rocket.
Remember what I said as well, short run setup, short run speed. So what I think Spots has been able to really find this week is he's been able to find a good configuration that allows him to get the most out of the car on the short run, as Jason Willart's going to have an opportunity at Bulasa here.
Yep, around the outside. Well, he's really setting a move around the outside, getting high on the banking, going to switch down low right now. Try for a run up onto the inside, heading into turns 3 and 4. He's got a great run, and they're both going to go down low, heading into turns 3 and 4. We are going to see a response from the 10 as he gets way up there, almost gets up into the wall, but that is Jason Willott up into 10th place.
Good move from Jason, and you can see it all started with the mistake from Borwalasa. But at the same time, Willard had to make the move. He had to work the car out to try and make the move stick. He had to build the run. He recognized that he wasn't going to make the move going into turns 1 and 2. And so all he tried to do was he tried to set himself up with the momentum, and he was close enough that on the exit of 1 and 2, he'd get the run, get to the inside, and then that's when the move gets done.
So right on board of Kevin Boholasa. It's way up to that wall. Every time they get into turn 4, I'm just holding my breath now, because every time it just looks like they're getting all the way on razor edge. Even Pinero had a little bit of wiggle right there as we pull up our track map, and just that is a massive gap. Somebody just looks like they're in their own test session right now, and that's P1. And you got that secondary group from 10th all the way to 14th with that lap car in the middle of it, and from 2nd all the way to 7th in the group, then 8th and 9th are on the road. But this track is really going to fill up, especially if we see an all-green running.
Which I'm just looking around, Austin, and if you actually notice something, one of the quirks that seems to have played itself out, even in this group at the tail end of town, is it looks like it's 2-car bunches that are going on together. So it looks like the aero from the 2 cars in front is too much for the 3rd car in the queue to sort of hang on. So that car spaces out a little bit. Then that car drags another car along with it because that car can't slow down. It's sort of stuck in this really weird aerospace. So looking at that track map, that's a really interesting opportunity to say this is how the race is going to develop. Green flag pit stops, I think, are going to shake everything up. If I'm being honest with you, Van der Zandt has to get the undercut here. If he can get the undercut, he'll drive away from spots every day of the week.
Yeah, Van der Zandt definitely really going to have to look for an alternate strategy to get around spots. He knows he's faster than Brian, so what he's doing right now, well, he's just steadying Brian, trying to save some fuel maybe, and won't try to go for a later pit stop, or you know, try to dive in to the pits earlier, but he is struggling right now for some time because Brian Spots is starting to pull away.
A couple of notes. I'm just taking a quick look at our race information based upon the Apex Racing Academy setups. Notes are, I'm not actually sure how the races will play out. So what that says to me is that even though that a lot of these guys have done testing, they've tried to give themselves setups, no one's really going to have information on exactly how this race is going to play out. And crucially to me, I think the most crucial piece of information, remember when I was talking about that right rear was just sort of looking like it wasn't completely and utterly comfortable? Yeah, the guys over at Apex Racing Academy have said the same thing. They think the right rear is actually getting way too hot just because of the nature of the circuit and the way that the power is going to that right rear. You need to look after that tire, so you've got to do something unconventional. You've either got to take a shallower entry to your corners, or you've got to drive it a whole bunch deeper and then jump on the brakes a little bit just in the middle of the corner to transition some of that load to the right front. And that's what it's all about, is instead of making sure you're just driving the car the same lap after lap after lap, you start to feel that right rear going a little bit, you change up your driving style to transition where you're loading the car.
And we're closing in on pit stop times very soon because these cars have about 54. They can almost make 54 laps on fuel, so I'm expecting around lap 50, 53 to be our pit window, our initial pit window right here in Nashville.
Pit road's going to be an interesting one here, because remember, you're transitioning from a concrete surface back to an asphalt surface, so that grip level does definitely change. And at the same time, these tires are heavily worn, particularly those right side tires, so actually bringing it down on a pit lane is going to be a tricky prospect today. I'm expecting to see a lot of right fronts locked up, and the instant the right front locks up, you'll see the left front lock up with it. So that's actually coming because
I'm going to make a correction. I messed up that math. IndyCar is set as 18.5 gallons of fuel, not 17, like I put in.
Okay.
Let me do that math again.
I'm like over here doing
59 laps of fuel. Okay, there we go.
59 laps of fuel. Okay, look.
And that's it for using Mo. We got a slow car coming out of turn 4. Hey, it's that undercut.
Well, remember what I said. This is what he's going to do. According to the information that we had, the lap time fall off is somewhere in the realm of 0.5 to a full second. I'm thinking the cars that are in the draft, especially being behind Brian Spots, he had to work those tires quite aggressively, so he would have seen a lot more heavy tire fall off. The reason why Pinheiro is running away in front, he's got that clean air, his tires just aren't working anywhere near as hard. So as the stint has gone on, he's just driven away, not purely because he's faster, because yes, he is certainly a faster driver right now, it's also tires coming into play.
Absolutely. And speaking of tires,
it's critical.
What we're about to see, the tires for Alex van der Zandt start working right now. He's coming out back onto track.
This is free track.
Yeah, free track for him. Pull up that track map, see where he's at. Right behind the ninth place of Rob Uncle Nex.
Jason Willott.
That's actually Jason Willott.
Uncle Nex is grabbed 2 spots back.
I was looking at. No, he's 2 spots ahead.
Yeah, because remember that Willott actually got... No, that was Bullasa. So initially, Willott and Onkelnex were racing in the early stages of the race. Onkelnex has actually been slowly progressing through the field. This is what a Marquez.
He's really working Marquez, trying that outside line setup, seeing if he gets any more space, but he's just getting word that you got 10 laps of fuel left. You really need to start thinking about when you want to go into the pits. And, we saw this in Phoenix, where drivers started diving for the undercut much earlier than a lot of other drivers, and they were really starting to run away with it. So are we going to be seeing that happen again? We're going to really find out as we have... Oh, that is Chris Wilhite diving into the pits.
I knew his name was familiar. I knew Chris Wilhite's name was familiar. I've just noticed that 2021 Indy 500 winner. I was like, I'm sure I've seen his name somewhere before. Yeah, that's where. That's before I was an IndyCar fan. Well, if there's ever a time to vent ascend it, it's right now.
Yeah, purple sector, fastest lap of the race, 23.85. Alex van der Zandt And in the words of Indy 500 qualifying, it's a new track record. We got a slow car in the trioval right now as Laura Gerhardt and Kevin Bohulasa are closing in on them. I'm not sure who that is.
Could be Willard.
Yeah,
Is that Willard?
I'm not sure if that's Willard.
I don't know. You know what? It's not. Is it?
It is Willard. There's the overtake right there. Gerhardt around the outside. It's a big choke up right there as I'm having a little choke up right now. Jason Willard on his outlap. I think he might have smacked the wall. Because he was
Willard wasn't in the pit lane, was he?
He wasn't?
No, I don't. That's his first time in the pit lane, because if he was in the pit lane, he would have been one lap down.
I'm confusing Will Height with Willard again.
Austin, never stop commentating the way you do.
Well,
Never.
I can improve.
Never change. No improvement. I love you just the way you are, Austin. Oh, look, I mean, this is developing into an interesting race. I definitely felt like we would have seen a caution, and if we're going to see a caution, it would be about now. There's a few risky factors, so let's talk about the undercut strategy. Why does it work? You're getting down there, you're getting fresh tires. The tires that you currently got on your car before the stop, they're a little bit worn. They just don't offer the same level of grip, they don't offer the same level of pace. You're getting to pit road early to try and change those up. What that's going to mean is the cars behind you that pit later on, you're going to jump them earlier on in the stint, then they're going to have this overlap. But due to the nature of Indy cars, due to the nature of stock cars as well at this point in time, making those overtakes is just so difficult with the current aero configurations, in particular at this track. We've only seen a couple of moves so far today, and a lot of them have been kicked off by cars that are making mistakes. So look, the whole field's going to start to shuffle itself through pit lane.
Yeah, Brian Spots just dived into the pits as well. He was struggling a lot. This is Richard Craig down onto the inside of...
Does not want to see this.
Oh, this is very, very tight and crazy. Vandersen is just stuck behind it. It's like, go to the pits now. You got 2 laps of fuel. Just go.
Go, please get to the pit lane.
Yeah, I think he's actually letting them... Nah, he's still on the inside of the car on the outside, and that car really is just like... he's going all the way to the end.
Critical.
58. Brian Spots in the pit lane right now. And,
yeah.
He's got a penalty speeding in the pits. Marco, stop feeding me misinformation. Yeah, 40 seconds in the pit lane for Brian Spots.
This is damage.
He might have had damage. That's right. That is a very odd stop right there. Uncle Nex dives into the pit lane right now because everyone's averaging it.
Running off into the sunset. He really
Pinero's
does not
still
care.
going. Well, Pinero's actually about to head into the pits. That's Tim Williams getting his name right first try. Heading into the pits. Big lockup right there as Adriano Pinero around the outside. Well, staying on that outside line right now. I'm expecting him to dive into pits very soon.
Is that just me, or is Blocker closed up massively? He's down to 6 seconds. When Vandersen and Brian Spots both pit, they were about 7-8 seconds behind Adriano Pinheiro. So Blocker is very good on the long runs. We've got to keep our eyes on that because he's going to want to go as long as possible on just about every one of these runs.
If you're a long-time iRacing IndyCar follower, there is 3 words you need to know. Okay, 4, because it's Adam Blocker. Okay, 5, I can't count.
No, that's 4.
But
Marco can't count.
Marco's made...
It's just one word. It's one word.
Anyway, as we're arguing about, well,
Man.
alphabet.
What's better to argue about during an IndyCar race other than semantics and the apostrophe shortener? What do you call that? Shortening? That one? Whatever that is. There's a specific term for it. Vandersen has overtaken Pinheiro in the pits!
This is the weirdest.
Yeah, look, we can't keep focused. We both have ADHD. We know this.
I got ADD. It's a little bit different. Andrew Wood heading into the Pinheiro did jump, got jumped by Vandersen, and Alex Vandersen on that undercut really made it work right there. Pinheiro Oh man, he's probably looking ahead. It's like, how?
No, he won't be. He won't be, but I get the feeling those guys are going to be very close together out on track as well.
I think Pinhero's on the back of Vanderset, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. There he is. And so the two net leaders having a little bit of battle. Pinheiro dives down low. Vanderset around to the outside. Still on the outside right there. Oh, he could get that switchback working really well. Outside, back onto the inside. But Vanderset back behind the Pinheiro, and our two net leaders right there. Here's Andrew Wood storming out of the pit lane. He's going to be coming out in P5. And
there you go.
yeah, it was a pit stop. Marco thought it was a penalty.
Okay, so a couple things that I'm looking at. As Adam Blocker's coming into the pit lane at this point in time. Right, so Pinheiro pit on lap 60. Alex Van der Sant pit on lap 45. That's a 15-lap tire difference. The tire degradation has definitely kicked in by that stage. So that's the reason why you just saw Van der Sant just really not able to hold off Adriano Pinheiro. The tire differential is just so massive at that point in time. Huge benefit here. Pinheiro can go just about to the end on a splash and dash just about at the end. His last pit stop is going to be extremely short. He's still going to take tires. Why is he still going to take tires? The benefit of taking tires far outweighs the benefit of not, because the splash is going to have to take
the wall. I believe there was one car that tapped the wall on the outside. I'm not sure who it was. We were looking up Pinheiro, but it was a lapped car. I think it might have been Tim Williams who hit the wall. Here comes Adam Blocker out of the pits in P5, so he jumped Andrew Wood right there. And Spots. Spots falling down to 7th. And remember, Spots had that 14-second long pit stop in the box. Believe it was for damage. That's the current theory.
He's
and
5 seconds.
Woodlight is his third.
5. So this is how bad Brian Spots' stop was. He's 5 seconds slower than everybody else. That 5 seconds covered at the end of that first stint, second place, all the way down to about where he is now, about 7th. So where he's come out is perfect. That is exactly what 5 seconds covered. And the other problem for him was that he was attempting to cover off the undercut partially from Van der Sant. So he did still stop earlier than Pinheiro did. So he's not going to have the freshest tires. So a whole bunch of other guys around him that pitted later with fresher tires now that jumped him in the stops. That is exactly the opposite of the reason to pull the undercut.
Whoa! That's Andrew Wood getting a little bit frisky out of turn 4 and going across the lawn. Let's right on board for that. Hello! What a save.
Hey man, it's not top split for no reason.
Yeah, all these guys up here know how to drive it, and they definitely know how to save it. That turn 4, it doesn't flatten out. It stays on that banking, which really upsets the balance of the car because, you know, you come out a corner, the car, naturally, everyone just expects to go flat. But the banking stays up there, and it just keeps the stress of the tires just like in this weird zone. It's like, hey, we're not supposed to be doing this. What's going on?
Well, that's just it. I mean, in terms of tires, they basically... So let's talk the difference between simulator models and Matsuda's actually left the server now as well. So Matsuda's actually called it quits. So Hugo Olsen, not the only one to have had enough for tonight. Yeah, look, I mean, there's always going to be a difference between simulation and real life, and a lot of that simulation, that difference comes into play with the tires. They have chemical structures, right? It's a rubber compound. Basically, you're flexing and you're putting heat into these chains. What that does is it softens them up. They're allowed to flex a lot more, and the molecules can bond closer together and cause more friction to the road surface. Well, that's actually really bad in a way, because as they heat up, they generate a little bit more heat. With the laws of equilibrium, and the way that works is the tires will, at all stages, the tires are both heating up and cooling down based upon the amount of energy that's going in. If there's more energy going in than there's coming out, the tires will heat up, and the inverse is true. If there's more energy leaving the tire than is being put into the tires will cool down. That's how that works. Then you've got the air inside the tire as well. Air doesn't really transition temperature all that well. So the air inside the tire, once it's heated up, it struggles to cool down. That's why tire pressures, once the tires are actually warm, the tire pressures still slowly creep up over a little bit of time, because it takes that little bit of while for the heat in the tire to actually transition into the air inside the tire, as well as they're at a higher pressure than relative air pressure. Then the inverse is always true. It always takes a little bit longer for those tire pressures to go back down. So when you get a safety car period, when you get a caution, you get a period of the race whereby the tire temperatures are cooling off quite aggressively, but the temperature and the pressure within inside those tires is still a fair bit higher, which creates weird and interesting behavior on restarts. That's why you see a lot of tire spinnings.
Yeah, tires really going to be spinning up out of these corners. Adam Blocker had a slow car right in front of him, like it was dropping. Well, it was definitely dropping speed like crazy, because it just seemed like a boat in the water right there.
It's an interesting. I'm assuming, Melko, that this is the car's current lap times, or their most recent lap times.
Yes, it's the last lap. It's the last lap that he ran.
So this is really, really crucial. Have a look at Marquez and Blocker. Look at the time difference that they're currently running, but also have a look at Adriano Pinheiro, 24:04. Wood, 24:04 in his most recent lap. So Wood is looking after his tires incredibly well as well, even though he's had a couple trips to the infield. So that's a phenomenal job by him. Van der Sant, 0.3 slower. Will Height, nearly half a second off the pace of Adriano Pinheiro. That's gonna.
Pinheiro. I've been so consistent that it's just been saying 24:04, 24:04, 24:05. He is robotic out there.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. And the benefit is
time is also going to be
24:06.
He made a little bit. But,
he made half a tenth worth of mistakes somewhere for sure.
Yeah, half a tenth. Then that's just the car, adjusting to the track, adjusting to the temperature and everything. And well, he was one of those adjustments didn't go right, but we're talking about a tenth here, like half a tenth here for Pinheiro. Alex Van der Zandt, 4.3 tenths behind him.
Well, he's a real driver because we spoke to him last week, so we know that's not a robot.
Yes, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get it.
His times are robotic, but he's human.
Yeah, so a couple things when we're looking at those lap times, thank you for those, Marco, actually, that gives me a lot of analysis to go forwards, is that Adam Blocker, and this is the car that we're on with, one of the last cars to pit, he's got the freshest set of tires. The problem for him is that Marquez ahead of him is running very similar lap times, only fractionally slower than Adam Blocker. That means for Blocker to get close and to actually make the overtake, he has to work his tires incredibly hard. So the issue for Blocker is that I think he's just going to back off and just let Marquez run up on the guys ahead. When he does that, that's going to be his opportunity for the move with the freshest tires in the field. Now, having said that, Marquez has fresher tires than the two guys ahead of him. Remember, Will Height is probably one of the slowest cars on track right now. Half a second off the pace of Pinheiro. Here we go.
And Van der Zandt's also slowing up with Blocker. He is closing in. And you can see the different lines that Marquez and Blocker are taking. Blocker getting all the way down to the apron right there, as that's Nicholas holding on to the outside, letting everybody pass. That's Chris Will Height right there. Andrew Marquez, and with Adam Blocker right behind him. And just look at the differences of where they're putting the car. Will Height's Marquez is favoring that second line, that second groove in the concrete, as Blocker is favoring that first groove. And you can see Blocker, he's not diving down to the bottom this time by. He's delaying that turn in right there, because I believe he's starting to do that little setup, staying on the outside, do the switchback. But right now he's really feeling that car staying on that bottom line, and he's feeling really glued in right there. And Marquez goes to the middle of the track now. I feel like he's starting to get a little bit defending, take off the air right there, but he makes a mistake heading into the turn. Here comes Adam Blocker.
Yeah, and then remember what we saw early in the race. He's got to set this up. Does he go to the inside here? If he gets underneath him, yes, 100%. The problem now is that Blocker's on the low line. He can't maintain the momentum. Did you hear him bail out of the throttle just there? This means that Marquez has got the strong run down the back straight. Now he's looking for that fresh air. The reason why he's changing those lines is he's looking for the fresh air. He's got aero devices. He wants to make them work. And any time that he's running directly behind where Marquez is, it's a caution.
He stopped right there, but he's in the grass. The caution has not come out. He has to get onto the track to be stopped for the yellow flag come out. It's still green here as Blocker gets ahead and blocks Marquez. Blocker for 4th. And Tim Williams gets it into the pit lane, drives it from the tribal to the pit lane, and then turn 4 strikes again. Big slide for Tim Williams right there. But since he was not on the tarmac, the fast stuff, he will not bring out the caution, which I know for a lot of these drivers, they're just going to be like, yeah, let's keep this the fast lane only.
Crossover.
Beauty of a move by Adam Blocker. Beauty.
So critically, so two things that happened there. He got to the inside, he made the move done, and then he cleared himself, and he had to. And it's great driving by Marquez, because Marquez also had to recognize that Blocker was coming, Blocker's faster than him, and he's just going to yield that battle once he gets ahead.
Andrew Wood doing this, doing the side step maneuver as well, going to the outside, diving out to the inside, but very well blocked by Marquez. He knew what was going on. He stayed up high to give him the momentum on the straight, and, well, Andrew Wood backed out of it. He didn't feel like he had a good run. They're behind a big train of cars up there. The aero bound's going to be all over the place right now, but Andrew Wood staying on the outside this time. Going to try for a little bit of different pass. And look at Blocker up ahead. He's in a little scrap of a car as well. Andrew Wood going down low. Hey, I lost side by side into turn 1 action.
Yeah, this nearly looks like a mirror image. I think I've seen this somewhere before. Maybe about 5 laps ago.
Yeah, one of the cars are the same, but Andrew Wood, he wanted to race him in there, lift it off. He's thinking smart about this. Lap 92 of 150. And Andrew, well, he's studying Marquez. He's studying that top 5 spot, and he's just waiting for his opportunity to strike. He's on a few lap newer tires. Car coming out of the pits right now. That would be Tim Williams.
Yep. Okay, so
there.
I'm gonna throw an alternative strategy out the window here and just see what sticks. Okay, so all of these guys, let's talk about what laps that they pitted on, particularly the guys that are on their way forward. Right now, Adam Blocker, Andrew Marquez, Andrew Wood. Let's talk about those guys. Blocker pit on lap 66, Marquez 55, Wood 63. So Wood's got really fresh tires here at this point of the race. Regardless, I want to see one of these guys get to about lap 105, bail down pit road. Why? You're always going to make it. In fact, we're inside the pit window now to make it to the end of the race. You're pulling the undercut, but the thing is, you're shortening the length of time that you're spending on older tires on both stints. You've extended that first stint, now you get to spend 2 short stints going flat out.
Absolutely, it's a great strategy. We're probably going to be seeing the drivers that stayed out like always. That's a big hint of understeer for Marquez. Kept it out of the wall. Andrew Wood had a great look right there, but even so, on that straight, no money home. And they both go up the track. Marquez is really struggling this time because that was not a on-purpose block. Here comes Andrew Wood down low, staying all the way on that bottom line, trying to carry the speed momentum out of that corner. But here comes Marquez once more. But Marquez has really been struggling with these tires. And that grip, let's see, Woods needs to get his head down and try to power his way through this, because it's a tale of 2 tapes right there. The bottom line is much faster line, but that top line down that straight is so good. And when you're drafting the car ahead of you, well, that draft's even more important than all. And, well, Andrew Wood is really stuck between a rock and a hard place because he wants to get past. But
he's going to have to leverage his lap traffic for sure. And the fact that the lap traffic just went to the bottom of the track, that plays hugely into Wood's hands.
Yeah, they went to the bottom. Here, and speaking of the bottom, here comes Wood. Where's that lap traffic going to go? Into the bottom as well. And Marquez around the outside. No dirty air affecting Marquez.
I've just been watching the behavior of both of these cars at this point in time. The real part of the corner where Marquez is struggling, and anyone that's on older tires, Alex Vandersant and Chris Wilhite critically, are probably going to be 2 of those guys. I want to have a look at some little bits and pieces of their car behavior, because right now, it's the middle of the corner where Marquez is struggling. He gets into the corner nicely, the car settles down, middle of the corner, he just all of a sudden drifts back up the track, and then the exit of the corner, the car's very good again. So it's just that middle phase of the corner whereby it's just overloading the front right.
Yeah, that front right really getting abused right there. Here comes Wood, but that
Going so high.
Marquez is staying on that outside line, and he's just reeling in all that advantage that Wood had, and still staying ahead because that lap car is just shooting so much dirty air over that car that it's making it hard to pass. It's just hard to stay behind him, and they're both just like, this lap car wasn't here. Both our lives would be much better, and this time Marquez will height. First of everyone back into the pits.
And Andrew Wood followed him in. Yeah, I was literally about to say the same thing. That'll be a penalty. There's no way that's not a penalty.
He crossed over the grass. But that was a very, very odd pit stop right there. Everybody diving into the pits. Van der Zandt, who went in on lap 45, comes into the pits right now on lap 102. Believe that was an actual plane stop for Van der Zandt, but Wilhite looked like it was a bit panicky.
No penalty! No penalty, you got away with it.
Well, let's go.
Okay, so remember what I said, Pinero's in as well, everyone's coming in. Remember what I said, this is about getting in early. So the gap between Pinheiro and Van der Zandt towards the tail end of that stint was about 3 seconds here, Austin. So Van der Zandt really looked after his tires. He knew this middle stint was going to be long, so he backed it up. He did have pace, he did have that undercut pace, but at the same time, he made sure his tires did not fall off. He was one of the first cars to come down pit road. He looked after those things like it was going out of fashion. I tell you what, when you wear high quality shoes like that for as long as you damn well do, man, you're the height of fashion, Mr. Van der Zandt.
Absolutely, and I gotta say, he's definitely wearing those Jordans pretty well.
When can I get my first pair of Firestone shoes?
Coming out of the pit exit right there, scuffing up those tires. Man, that is something you don't want to do.
Van der Zandt!
It's on the outside coming in. Right behind him, it's Alex Van der Zandt, and he sees a car that he's been chasing for a while. Pinheiro, they went on the similar strategies right now. So we got ourselves a good old-fashioned Southern race here in Nashville. Pinheiro, Van der Zandt, and this is coming out of the pit lane. This is what really caused all that. Watch that car to start taking a little bit of a slide right here. Woohoo!
Oh, he hasn't lost all that much time, but that's probably in the realm of 1.5, 2 seconds. So that's why those guys are attached at the hip. This is going to be a hunt till the end of the race. It would not surprise me if you see Van der Zandt fall off in the early phases of this stint right here, and then all of a sudden he comes charging back at him later on. What he's going to try and do is going to try and spook Pinheiro into pushing these tires hard early.
Yeah, he's really going to have to push to stay ahead and just try to catch up to Pinheiro and stay with him. They're on similar strategies now, and wait a minute. Van der Zandt's... No. I am seeing things. For a second, I thought Van der Zandt's front wing was a little bit bent. But I'm happy to just be crazy and not right about that. We still got our race in our hands.
Being crazy is like my favorite part about myself.
Okay, it's not just me in the booth.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, you got to feel for Marco. He gets trapped in here with us for, what, 90 minutes every week?
Hey, but Marco loves this.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
I return my direct comments to you. Sorry, Marco's comments from earlier in the stream to you. If he could have fired us by now, he would have. He doesn't have a choice. Oh, okay, apparently I'm okay. I can say people's names correctly.
Well, Lord Gerhart heading into the pits. But people want me as a spotter pack.
Yeah, I do too. To be fair, give me spotter Austin, commentator Austin. Look, I'll accept you, but no, I'm not saying it. Who am I kidding? I love this every week.
Yes.
So, cause Adam Blocker, I think we're about to see some more cause Adam Blocker. I don't think he can go to the end of the race. I think he's about 10 laps short, 10-20 laps short, but he's going to go as damn well long as he can.
He cannot make it to the end of the race. He's got about 10 laps of fuel left. And no. He's got
he's got about 10
more. Well, he went 66 on one lap. One take. Oh, hey. Well, right now.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for proving us wrong.
Well, he's going to short that stint up and really, well, try to blitz it to the end right now for Adam Blocker. And now our new leader is Brian Spots with Richard Craig right behind him. Uncle Nex heads into the pits as well. And here is our current leader, Brian Spots, who, well, pole sitter, has really had a downward spiral of a day.
Now, Brian Spots pitted on lap 56, and he's got
that 14-second pit stop. Remember that.
Yeah, so look, if he can go 66 laps on this stint, which is the furthest we've seen any of our drivers make it, then he will get to lap 122. So he's got about 10 laps worth of fuel. He's staying out, and I agree with this decision. His race has not gone the way that he needed it to go, so he's going to stay out as long as he possibly can, and Adam Blocker just happens to come out right in front of him, so this is not good for Spots either.
The Spot sees that, and he's like, well, thankfully,
I love that photo.
He draft him, but other than that, it's not really going to be helping Brian Spots at all. And
look at that photo.
It's a nice photo right there. Brian Spots got a good face. So do you, Andrew Marquez.
And remember, if you want to get your photos, oh, Kevin Bulasa! Speaking of photos, if you want to get your photos in, the driver information app, go and download that, upload a photo. I know I've got one in. It may be of me drinking a beer, but that's okay.
I got one of them as well. It's not of me, though.
Is it the Stig?
No.
Austin Knight for the Stig?
I think it's Brian Spots heading into the pits. I am not the Stig. I swear by contract to not ever say anything. Oh, dang it.
You mentioned the contract. The first rules of the contract do not mention the contract.
First mention of the contract is you don't mention the company the contract's for.
Well, you didn't mention the company the contract was for.
Yeah, but I did mention a contract to...
You're just digging yourself a hole, Austin. I can help you fill the hole back in, but you'll be in the hole.
I don't want to be in the...
Oh. I mean, we have no knowledge on what sort of culture or background the SIG actually has, so there you go.
Some say he's an esports commentator that just yells at IndyCar's names and gets every name wrong. Oh, well, Uncle Nex almost into the wall right there. He was really close to it as trying to make it move on Brian Spots. Yeah, it's holding that outside line very nicely. Spots on that inside line, but I think we're going to see around the outside move. Switch back from Uncle Nex. No, we're not, but he's going to really attempt it right here.
So you got to remember that this is brand new, fresh tires for Brian Spots. Lower fuel load this stint, remember as well. The cars only need to go an extra 20 or so laps, so than they could have on max fuel tanks. So when they come down, they're only going to add about that 20 lap sort of window worth of fuel to the car to get themselves home. So their fuel loads are going to be lighter. The cars are going to be reacting a little bit differently at this stage of the stint. It's probably going to wear the right rear a little bit more heavily because there's a lot less weight over that corner, which means that tire is going to pick up a little bit more wheel spin. So definitely looking after these right rears. If we're going to see a caution, I definitely feel like it's going to be in this phase of the race just due to the different nature of the handling of these cars.
Yeah, the car's going to be handling a lot differently than they were at the start. Tires are, well, the track's rubbered in more. That concrete, well, it's still abrasive and all, but the temperature
of the coming down,
is going down as well. You see the sunset coming down here in Nashville. Yes, there are stadium lights around here. I believe so. Yes,
that's what those light towers would be by the look of that. Oh, are they car park lights? They might be car park lights.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking there, but no, this track does have night lighting. It does have night lighting, so they will be going into the night very shortly if this sees a unfortunate caution right now, but you know, track temperature is 88. The lead, the track temp when we started was about 112. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so 30-degree drop in track temp.
Which is massive.
Yeah, cars handling completely and utterly differently. You probably see a lot less cars fire off. Okay, maybe that risk of a caution starts to go down. this gap between Pinheiro and Van der Sande, it's so constant. It just varies fractionally. It goes down a little bit, it comes back up a little bit, comes down a little bit. Look, there's maybe half a tenth in the gap that's changed right there.
If you ever want to see me go on a racetrack, this is what it looks like.
It's kind of like more like a bungee cord. It sort of extends out and then it retracts itself back in. Because Cedro is going to come down and make his final stop. So that should be our entire field through the pit lane for their final stops.
Well, Yo-Yo, you can break, and you can break this gap after the mistake. I don't want to have the knowledge of a bungee cord break. I know what they do, but you know, as somebody who likes extreme stuff, let's not talk about bungee cords snapping. But well, yeah, they're coming up to some lapped cars right now, and this could really affect Pinheiro.
Ooh. Did you see Van der Sande's car just hop a little bit, skip a little bit sideways and exit a four there?
Yes.
But he controlled it so perfectly. There was nearly no reaction from the driver, which is the perfect amount of reaction.
Perfect amount of reaction.
Cedro coming out where he comes out. He's going to come out and get up to speed in the middle of these two. That is not what you want to see if you're Alex Van der Sande.
Yeah, Van der Sande. Oh. No, well, I mean, car in front of him is on extremely fresh tires, so he could a little bit. And was that a wall tap?
That was a wall tap.
I don't believe he got any damage from there, so he's walking away with well, a little bit of sweat between his eyes right there. But Van der Sande really getting a little bit too close to Southern Comfort, and he's fallen away 1.2 seconds between him and Pinheiro.
Whether or not that checked him out, I still get the feeling that it's this car sitting in the middle of them. Ultimately, what's the worst? Van der Sande's position. We're coming down, we've got 23 laps to go at this point in time, and he's got an 8-second margin to the next car in the queue. Right now, what's the worst possible thing that can happen if he pushes these tires and absolutely burns them up? He finishes second. Wow, caution, but you come back down. If there was a caution, you come back down for sure.
Yeah, but there's going to be that one car that stays out. I can guarantee you, if there was a caution right now, one of these drivers will be staying out, saying, I have the tire wear to make it to the end. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit right here. And if a driver does stay out, you've lost that track position, because even with new tires around here, it's really hard to pass a car. It takes about 2 to 3 laps to make that pass work, and if you're behind a lot of cars who are still trying to do the same thing, it's going to get wild, and caution breeds caution babies, and it's going to just be extremely hard for them. So if there's a caution coming out right now that we saw in Phoenix, this could get a bit wild, and I feel like one of these drivers might have a little bit of strategy call, but yeah, most of the drivers will be heading into the pits.
Yeah, but ultimately, I mean, you're basically saying if you're in Alex Van der Sande's shoes, you've got to push. You've got to try and attach yourself as much as you possibly can to Pinheiro through the traffic. The traffic hasn't played itself out in Van der Sande's favor, and Pinheiro is just pincering through the traffic in a really easy format, and he's not having much trouble really at all. It's all sort of going according to his plan. So unfortunately, it's over. But from Van der Sande's point of view, when you come into these latter phases of the race, there's not a lot of time left over. You've got to have a crack, because your margin to the car behind is so massive, there's no penalty to it. The only time there will be a penalty is if you tap the wall, and Van der Sande had a crack, he's just barely scrubbed the wall. I'm wondering whether it was not tire to wall contact, in which case he'd be okay.
I think it was tire to wall. I don't see any damage on that car.
Look, I mean, he's got to have a crack. That's the end result of things, because there's not enough time left with it. The caution's the only thing, and I mean, this race has gone green the whole way through, so to be perfectly honest with you, you've got to have a crack. You've got to do it the best that you possibly can, and it didn't work out his way. And sometimes that's just racing. Now he'll settle in and he'll just collect that second place.
Yeah, he's comfortably in second place. Third behind him is a few seconds behind him right now, 6 seconds to be exact. And Pinheiro is just threading his way through this lap traffic like he was sewing a sweater, honestly. Doesn't seem affected by this at all. As Van der Sande, it's just dropping even more. This is a extremely well Well, yeah, an extremely good drive by Pinero right here. The Sao Paulo driver is just absolutely making Nashville his second home right now. He just seems the most comfortable out there.
And something I heard from one of the drivers that just said in the race, they're just, they're getting information right now. This is just a big part of them gathering information, gathering intel, trying to, if these cars ever return, they want to have that intel on hand. They want to be able to cast their minds back and go, okay, this is what the tires did, this is what the layout did, this is what the extended runs felt like, this is what I did with the bars. Basically they're just banking all of that information, and that's critical. They're going to be going backwards, Gerhardt! Oh my word! She's getting loose on the track.
Absolutely. That bottom line is getting a little bit loose for wear, especially the bottom groove. That second groove seems to be where most of the rubber is building up. But Laura Gerhardt, she's finding ability. She's finding some grip where other drivers cannot find some grip, as she goes down to the inside right there on Jason Willett. But here comes Jason right back on her.
Oh.
And we got a car. That's Nicholas Istro in the wall. That is a front nose cone off. He's parked it on the, in the track, in the grass right there. And this is a big spin, and bam! And we are still not under caution because he did not come back onto the racing surface. I swear, a few drivers' hearts fell into their mouth right there, because we saw it happen last time at Phoenix, where we had a late caution. The closest finish we've ever seen in IndyCar iRacing history, 0.002 of a second.
Finish that was. I mean, the series, it's been an absolute cracker, and now we're coming to one of the tracks that we've never been to before. This has just been phenomenal. Bot's having some connection issues. You could say his connection's a bit spotty.
Oh my god. Get out.
Look, it was the easy one. I went for the low-hanging fruit.
I think that was below low-hanging fruit. You just picked that one off the ground.
A giraffe would have had to have bent down to pick that one up.
Look, you picked that off the ground. Then again, I did say Adam Blocker was pulling a good block on somebody earlier, but nobody reacted to it.
I mean, it's not even a joke at that point. You're literally just saying his name twice.
Yes, it's true. No, I was just stating a fact.
God damn it. I quit. I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to find something else to do.
You're on FX Racing TV. I'll be your host for the next 8 laps.
But seriously, what a great race from Adriano Pinheiro. How critical it was for him to get aggressive earlier on and drive past Brian Spots. That was the race right there. If he'd have gotten held up by Spots for even another 5 or 10 laps, his tire wear would have been significant in that first stage of the race, and it would have dragged him back into Van der Sant's shoes. And if Van der Sant was there and connected to him, and Van der Sant ever throws an aggressive move on Pinheiro, remember what I said right at the start of the race, that Van der Sant just needed to sit there and run with Pinheiro all the way up to Spots? Well, that's what he did. If Van der Sant had been able to send that move, we would have been looking at a completely and utterly different race, just purely because the tires would have fallen off. And I feel like Pinheiro, if he didn't go to his way in that first stint, I think he would have been on the undercut strategy, and that would have changed the complexion of this race completely.
Yeah, absolutely. It was all about tires. It's all about how you manage the traffic. It's all about how you kept your head to that opening lap, opening laps and opening stint. And, well, Pinheiro has just had the best out of everyone, and he's still one of the fastest cars out there on track. Andrew Wood is actually the fastest car currently out there on the track. As we go back to our live gaps, this is Richard Craig in 9th place, trying to chase down Rob ahead of him in P8. And Richard's been having a balanced day, some might say. He started in 9th, he's still in 9th place, and, well, 5 laps to go. This is when
there's an opportunity.
He definitely has an opportunity. There's the car ahead of him as well, but that car ahead of him is not the car he is racing. The car he's racing is 2 cars ahead of him, and that it will be Rob Ungelnex. That
car in the middle is going to really provide some interesting action in this closing couple laps. I mean, Pinheiro, like I said, just what a job. He's driven cleanly, he's driven consistently. His ability to just approach and get past traffic when he needed to. And also, he recognized that the undercut was a threatening strategy, but he wasn't worried about it. He knew his own pace. He came in earlier than the max length on that first fuel stint, but he managed the gap perfectly. He only came into the pits when it was relevant to him. Yeah, he lost the spot, but he got back almost immediately. 15-lap pressure tires. He did everything he possibly needed to do for this race. There's a reason that he's the winner, and he's a deserved winner today.
Yeah, 2 laps to go here at Nashville. If he crashes, that's the biggest commentator's curse I've ever seen put on somebody, but this is Pinheiro. I've never seen him really make a mistake in crucial moments, and I've done it too. White flag, final lap here in Nashville. And, well, very great race here today. A little bit of a cautious take to the race. Tactical race taken to the track. Thank you, Marco. As checker flag is out and taking the win here today from Sao Paulo, the Brazilian, Adriano Pinheiro. Comes across the line, take the win. Verdesant comes home in second place. Chris Wilhite comes home in third. Rob Ungelnex in eighth. As this is Andrew Wood. He's going to finish out that top 5.
Critical was that first round of stops too. I mean, look at Brian Spott's day. All of that.
Marquez has jumped Wood at the last second. I think there might have been a late race penalty applied because Andrew Wood has dropped down to 6th place. Oh no! Fuel runs out at the end, and that was Marquez who got him at the line. Let's watch this last lap for Andrew Wood as Marquez is closing in.
So quick.
Yeah, Andrew Wood was out of gas pretty much, and I think at this point he just figures, yep, I got it, and then engine starts cutting out right here. Out of fuel, he's just trying, going to the bottom of the track. This is white flag now. This is the white flag.
Okay, there we go.
There's 2 laps to go. Everything seemed right, and then everything starts going absolutely wrong. And here's Marquez. Marquez is closing in. He knows something's up. He's on a different fuel mode as well. And
there it is. You can hear it.
Wood, and then boom, there's the dropout. Here comes Marquez. He's going all the way to the bottom of the track, using that apron, and then bam! Just about 300 yards before the start-finish line. Marquez takes 5th place as Pinheiro is burning it down here in Nashville with an excellent deserved win, followed by Alex Vandesant, Chris Wilhite, Adam Blocker, Andrew Marquez, Andrew Wood, Brian Spots, Rob Ungelnex, Richard Craig, Laura Gearhart, Kevin Bohulasa, Tim Williams, Jason Willett, Nicholas Istro, Hayato Matsuda, and Hugo Oslin at the end of the grid. And Hugo had probably the most unfortunate race out of everybody here today with that contact on lap 1. And hey, green to green.
How many times do you see that in a season? That was a phenomenal race. I mean, we nearly saw that race last week. Nearly saw it. So, and I mean, again, I cannot say to Pinheiro, yeah, I think you said tactical. I prefer the term practical. What a practical race. Because that's really what it was. Yeah, he used his head a bit. Yeah, he played the tactics, but it wasn't really an out-and-out strategy race. It was, he drove to the conditions at all stages throughout the race. He managed his tires, he managed his fuel, everything. What a great race from Pinheiro. And look, Vandesant made the best of his opportunities. I think the driver today that will be asking themselves what would have been, yeah, you can say Hugo Olsen because he never got that opportunity to race, but I think it's Brian Spots. That first pit stop, I need to know what happened there because something happened. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that is probably going to be the biggest question because Brian Spots was so good, and then
podium,
whatever
went
happened
begging today for him.
Yeah, we were really begging for him, and well, we're probably going to find out what happened throughout the week as all the drivers, they pack up here from Nashville. Next week, we head to Zandvoort. That's going to be very fun to watch as we return to road course racing here in IndyCar, but we head overseas.
Unfortunately, I have to bail at this point in time, Austin, so I'll let you do the interviews without me. Thank you very much for what another cracker of a... To be perfectly honest with you, Top Split IndyCar has been phenomenal right throughout the season, and I'm really looking forward to next week's race as well at Zandvoort Park. It's overtaking's difficult, getting close and following very, very difficult. We'll see if these cars are perhaps better adapted to it than Formula One.
Well, this is also the old Zandvoort, but thank you, Scott. You have yourself a great morning over there. As well, we are joining in the booth right now with our second place finishing driver, Alex Vandersand. Alex, how was that race today, and how was Nashville?
It was good. Interesting track, very unique. Honestly, the race was kind of a parade. Couldn't do much in traffic, but made the strategy interesting. I liked the really long green flag run. So really tough in that regard, but definitely an interesting race, I think.
It was the first time the IndyCar series came here. Last week, the fixed series was here. Did you take an opportunity last week to hop to the fixed race and just to see what the track does throughout a race session and how the car and track feels, or was this your first go?
No, I did, I think 2 fixed races when it was here. And yeah, those were, you could pass a little bit more, but I think the track was a bit hotter and it was a fixed setup too. So the race played out a bit differently there. More crashes and yellows and stuff. So, that's just how it is. But with this, we had a really solid set of drivers tonight, and with the cooler track, it was a bit easier to drive, so I actually expected it to go mostly caution-free, maybe 1 or 2 early on. But yeah, was able to just figure out the strategy. That undercut was super powerful. I did not expect that. I didn't expect it to be that much, but
yeah, we saw you go in on lap 45, I believe. You were the first one in there, and when I saw you originally go in there, I'm like, oh, did he have a problem or something? But no, it was on purpose. And, well, you shot up the field and you were really up close with Pinheiro. But that final stop, you and Pinheiro came in at pretty much exactly the same time. And you were staying with him until that pack of lapped cars. How was the dirty air and dealing with that around here?
Yeah, it was tough. My car, it was actually fairly balanced. You just lost a bit of grip, but it didn't get super tight when I got up behind somebody. It was just, you can't build that run or set it up unless they make a mistake. So I was hoping when we caught that pack of lapped cars, I'd be able, like, he'd make a mistake or get hung up, and I'd be able to find a way around him. But I actually brushed the wall going into turn 1. Just was looking at my fuel numbers and lost focus. Yeah, so that cost me about 0.2 a lap. Fortunately, I had a big enough gap back to Chris that I got away with it, but just wasn't able to attack Adriano at the end, unfortunately.
Well, it was a great race by you in your parts. You finished in second, and that's a good momentum heading into Zandvoort. How do you feel about returning back to some road racing around some circuits?
Oh, really good. Zandvoort, it's a cool track. I've already done a couple laps there. It's definitely going to be a very fun race. Super fast track, tight. Going to be lots of really close action, I think. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And a stacked grid as well, because Zandvoort is a very popular track here in iRacing, and I'm pretty sure a lot of drivers are going to enjoy hopping into the tracks, and we might see a return back to 20-plus car grids.
Yeah, hopefully. Just the way these splits have been playing out, it's been small, but it makes for good strength of fields and or strengths of field, and so good points.
Yeah, so good points definitely on the table. Congratulations on a podium today, Alex. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, big thanks to my usual sponsors, lmcgear.com and Happy Trails Chili Company, and thanks to all the folks at Three Crowns Racing in the Alliance. Really good group. I've learned a ton from them on setup stuff. I was really able to apply that this week when preparing. So, having fun.
All right. Well, having fun is the name of the game. Congrats on a great race, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, fellas.
And, that was our only interview we had lined up, actually, of drivers hopping in here. So, well, usually I'm going to ask Scott of how he's feeling for next week, but Scott's not here. So, like Alex said, we're heading to Zandvoort next week after a tactical, practical race here around Nashville. I got to say, it's going to be great to see a road course very soon here at Zandvoort next week in the iRacing IndyCar Series. Thank you, everybody who stopped in to come and say hi and enjoy the action around Nashville here on Apex Racing TV. I've been joined by Scott Rankin. We got Marco Bobineri in the production booth, and I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.